What up, everybody? Ground Trooper here, and I'm riding down to the shop today to do some wrenching on the bike, and I think I'm getting a telepathic call-in from overseas. I'm gonna accept the telepathic collect call charges because I think it might be the Gorilla Biker with some questions for me. So, yeah. Hello, Gorilla Biker?
Hello, Ground Trooper 6189. I have some questions for you, bud. You knew this day was coming. You knew your time of reckoning was here. But don't worry, the questions are okay, I think, probably. Who knows, maybe you'll be like, these are awful questions. But anyway, question number one, it's actually something I'm just genuinely interested in. So, you have a lot of bikes, as we all know. And what I want to know is, how long would a bike have to sit unused for in order for you to look at it and say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to get rid of that bike because, you know, I'm not using it and maybe someone else could use it more. Now, I'm not talking a classic or, you know, a borderline collector's bike even, you know, that thing doesn't really exist, or, you know, something that might otherwise be thrown in the bin. You know, someone might not appreciate it. So not that, but, you know, like something like the Rebel, something like that, you know, a more modern bike. It's not special per se. How long would that have to sit before you decided enough was enough, you're going to move it on and get the value out of it, or let someone else get the value out of it?
Well, that's a very loaded question, Gorilla Biker, because as you know, I am what many might consider to be a motorcycle hoarding addict. I have many of the motorcycles, and, you know, we've established that. But I think for me to get to the point where I got rid of one of my motorcycles willingly, I'd have to be in a situation where I had not ridden the bike for, God, it'd have to be at least 6 to 8 months. And that alone's not good enough, right? I'd have to have not ridden it for 6 to 8 months, and I would have to be able to recoup enough cost in selling it that I'd be able to replace it with another motorcycle that I would ride. I don't ever foresee myself, you know, unless I get laid off from my job again or anything like that, or, you know, I get to the point where I'm having to spend a fortune to replace my my four-wheeled vehicle, that I would sell a motorcycle and not replace it with another one, because, again, as established, I'm an addict. Next question.
Question number 2. Also a pretty okay one, I think. So, as you are another tall human creature, do you think that all of us human tall creatures should band together and start our human tall creature motorbike company? That's HTMC. HTMC, that's what's going to be called. Human Tall Person Motorbike Company. And if you would be for us starting our own Human Tall Person Motorbike Company, what would your engine configuration be that would have to be on your first flagship motorcycle, and why? So yeah, that's question number 2.
Well, to answer that question, I would absolutely love to start a tall people motorcycle company. We're gonna have to come up with a better name, like I don't know, long leg cycles LLC. But I think that would be very interesting. Unfortunately, I think that at least from my experience, the majority of people interested in motorcycling are not tall like you and I, and definitely not like you. You're way out there. But you know, at 6'1", I'm still tall for a motorcyclist, at least in this area. Now, as far as engine variety goes, though, there's only one answer for that. And as much as I love little powerful parallel twins, I'm going to have to go with the V-twin, because that rumble and that heritage No, it could be a Honda V-twin. I absolutely love the VTX, but you know, I think that the V-twins produce a very iconic sound. They have a very iconic look. They're probably the motor type that I am most comfortable with working on. So, you know, that factors into it too. But, yep, we're going to start making tall people V-twins. That's TPVT. Maybe a parallel twin in there. Maybe an inline triple. You know, I really love the sound of my buddy Sprint ST. It's a wonderful motorcycle, but no, V-twin first and foremost. All right, next question, please.
Ooh, old stuff, class. Question numero 3. And yes, I'm just on the way home, so traffic is boring. I'll be able to get out of this soon enough. Sí. Pregunta numero 3. I think it's pregunta. Contéstame. We all know that you love New Mexico. You've made that clear, which is cool. Obviously, it's good to know that you love where you live. That's very important. But what I would like to know is, say tomorrow, the governor, or whatever you call them, of New Mexico came down to you and said, Grom Trooper, you are never allowed to set foot in this state again. You're definitely not allowed to live here ever again. And we're not sorry, and that's that. You have to go. Where would you want to live otherwise? So this is another and why question, you know, taking into consideration, you know, bike culture, all that stuff. Where would it be? Would it be in America? Would it be a different country entirely? I love that little bridge. Oh, let me know. And I'm sorry for banning you from New Mexico for that question. I do feel bad about that, because it does look very pretty.
It's funny that you bring this up, and first and foremost, I'd like to say that I'm a little scared that you speak better Spanish than I do, and I was born and raised in a state called New Mexico. But we're gonna gloss over that for a second, and we're gonna talk about the fact that you know, I'm honestly surprised I have not been banned from this state already, for various reasons that we're not going to discuss on this channel, but you know, for some reason they continue to let me live here. But if I was forced to go somewhere else, I loathe the heat, I really do, but the climate here is so wonderful for motorcycles, and being able to ride pretty much all the time is something that I don't think I want to give up. So you're gonna have to kick me out to Arizona, and I'll be right next door watching over the fence. And probably northern Arizona, because southern Arizona is hotter, but northern Arizona has some nice wineries and stuff like that too. And one of these days we'll take a road trip out there. But if I was to be banished from the massive state of New Mexico, for which I think you'd have to do something pretty horrendous to get kicked out of this state, but if I was, Arizona is the place that I would go, at least within the United States. Now, outside of the US, you know, I think I'd move to one of the old Russian states, you know, one of those Stan countries. And yeah, no, not really though. I'd get killed almost instantly. I just figured I'd say that to agitate you, guerrilla biker. Outside of the United States, honestly, probably Canada. And I know it's kind of shameful for me to not, you know, look at a different continent, but parts of Canada are flippin' beautiful. And you know, with my family being from Wisconsin, you know, a lot of the climate is similar. What the fuck is going on here? Ah, New Mexico drivers. Anyways, yeah. If you completely banish me from the United States, I'd go to Canada. Same story, I'd just be there, that creepy neighbor looking over the fence. Alright, next question.
Question number 4 is another evil one. If you were banned from eating burritos forever, and in this situation you're allowed to stay in New Mexico, so I'm just taking burritos from you, what would your next favorite food be? And I don't know, are burritos even your favorite food? I think you said they were, but yeah, assume you can never eat burritos again. What would your next favorite food be? The one that you'd want to, your go-to takeaway. It's like, hey, I'm peckish, I want something nice, or you've had a bad day. What's your cheer-up food? This is also a class corner. Look, there's a cliff face right there. It's like a cliff. Well, it's not a cliff, it's like a big rock, but anyway. Yeah.
The tone of these questions makes me think that you want to see me suffer, and that's slightly worrisome given the fact that you are a very large and terrifying human being. No burritos anymore. Well, that's not only going to make me sad, but it's going to make a couple of my friends sad, because there's a place in town here called Hurricanes, and they have a burrito called the Disaster Burrito, and it's a full disaster burrito. It's actually 2 burritos next to each other, probably covered in 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of curly fries, cheese, and chili. And I like eating it, and my friends enjoy mocking me and watching me while I do that. So if I don't get to do that anymore, that's going to be sad. However, I 100% have a fallback on what I would eat, and like you could eat burritos every single day, I could eat this food every day, and that's nachos. Man, nachos. And I'm not talking about like movie theater weird liquid cheese nachos. I'm talking about legit like refried beans and shredded chicken and house-made tortilla chips and black olives. Those are the nachos that I'm after. And in fact, there is a place in town called Los Cuates that I plan on doing a moto vlog at. I was like, why is this guy staring at me? Oh yeah, I know him. Yeah, at some point we'll go to Los Cuates, and we're gonna get the ginormous nachos there. This is an order of nachos so large that I generally have to break it up into 2 or 3 meals, or split it with my father, who is one of the only people who can sort of compete with me when it comes to how much food I consume. So yeah, we'll do that at some point. But to answer your questions about taking burritos away from me for the rest of my life, which again, pretty sure you just want me to suffer, but yeah, I'll just go to eat nachos. I don't care.
And question number 5, we learned during your podcast with me, great podcast by the way, everyone go listen to it, link in the description to my channel. We learned that you want to tour through Russia because you're an insane person. So yeah, question number 5 is, why do you think that you wouldn't be killed to death in Russia? Why do you think that you'd somehow manage to survive it as un Amerikanski? Why? Yeah, why Russia? I'm sorry, I wasn't fully happy with the explanation in the podcast. I want to know more. Come on, man, like Russia? I'm blown away. I'm not that I don't want to visit Russia. I really do want to visit Russia. But maybe not on a bike, maybe like in an armoured car, maybe. Or maybe I just have a terrible perception of Russia that's untrue, who knows? But yeah, that's question number 5.
Well, why Russia, and why do I think that I would survive there, is essentially what I'm hearing that you're asking me. And your initial question was if you could, and I could be wrong here, I'm going to paraphrase because it's been a while since we recorded that podcast, but you were like, if you could ride a motorcycle through like one area in the world, where would it be? And Brian the Biker and I both chose Russia, by the way, and it's because there is such a varied, hey, I guess, wow, how do I put this? Russia is a combination of different landscapes, different cultures, different, religions, different architecture types. There is so much variety to be had within small sections of that country, much less, the country as a whole, that I feel like it would be a missed opportunity to not try and ride through it. And try is the key word there, because I have almost no confidence that I could successfully ride across Russia on a motorcycle without being murdered, kidnapped, robbed, something. And, you know, that's both a combination of the varying states of militarism and criminalism that occur in that country, and the fact that sometimes I just don't know when to shut the fuck up. Now, as an Amerikanski, you know, going over there and touring around, I would straight up tell people I was from Canada. Like, only the people who needed to see my actual passport would know that I was an American. And yeah, like, I'm not just gonna be like, hey everybody, I'm from America. Yeah, I live in the state next to Texas. Y'all know Texas. No, I am going to pretend to be a very, you know, humble, friendly Canadian person who's obsessed with, like, charcuterie boards and you know, hockey, and they're just not gonna know for the most part that I'm an American, because I feel like stating in Russia that you're an American just exacerbates the situation. I think you exponentially increase your chances of something bad happening to you if you're like, yep, I'm American. So yeah, that's if given the opportunity, how I would attempt to motorcycle across Russia without being murdered, robbed, killed, etc. You know, yeah, having my organs stolen. I don't know if that's a thing that happens over there. And if there are any people from Russia or former Russian states watching this, I have absolutely nothing against your country. We just hear a lot of horror stories from tourists over here about it, and it may not be, you know, the reality of this situation over here. We may just hear the bad cases, if you know what I mean. So if you are from Russia and you have any tips for somebody who would want to come over there and ride motorcycles, please put them in the description down below. And to follow up on that, Gorilla, I feel like you also asked me essentially, why are you a crazy person? And well, I'm a 6-foot+ tall, pale white guy who lives in a desert that's constantly trying to kill him, and who one of his favorite pastimes is riding on two-wheeled self-propelled death machines. So, I mean, I've always been crazy, I guess. I don't think that there was one defining moment that... What are you doing? Jesus Christ. I feel like there was not one defining moment that made me a crazy person, and I've in fact been a crazy person for my whole life, and probably will continue to be a crazy person for the rest of my life. So, yeah. Thanks so much for the questions, Gorilla Biker. If any of you out there watching this video would like to send me questions, hit me up. Hit me up on Instagram, and we'll talk it out. And I think Gorilla Biker has a question for the outro crew, which is something that I don't normally do, but should do. So, take it away, Ape Man.
And that's it. Thank you very much for answering my questions, Mr. Grum Trooper. Hi. And for the people who have hung on to the end, I don't know what Grum Trooper wants to call them. I call y'all the outro crew, because I loves you. For Grum Trooper's outro crew, what is the one question you would like to see him answer? Leave it down in los comments. I don't know what comments are in Spanish. That just was me doing an accent on the word comments, which is ridiculous. But yeah, leave it down in the comments, not in the description. Grom wanted people to leave comments in the description for me, and that's just not feasible, Grom. I'm sorry, it can't happen. Goodbye.